Hey guys, this is Alvin the Storyteller. Welcome to my channel. And today we have here with us a fantastic guest. She's Rohini Vij, professional storyteller, founder of Nutspace, an edtech firm. And wow, she has varied hats, man. Yeah, it's an honor to have Rohini with us. What to say? She's a professional storyteller. She's a voice artist. She's a curriculum developer. She knows all about what's best for children. She knows what's best in parenting, and we are so honored to have her with us. So, welcome Rohini to our channel.
Hi, Alvin. Thank you so much for your lovely introduction. That was really nice and heartwarming. Hi, everybody. Good to be here.
Good to be here. So, my first question to you is: you are a multi-talented person. You had a background in theater. You are a voice artist. How did you pin yourself on storytelling, and how did Nutspace evolve?
So, Alvin, storytelling, I believe, came naturally to me right from the beginning. Even as a child, I was really very, interested in telling stories and, performing. So being on the stage always gave me a high. Having an audience right there applauding was something that, it's addictive once you're there on stage and you get that applause. So that's something that I always wanted to do. I always knew that I wanted to do something with media, and I experimented a little bit with the media. I worked with the children's publishing house for a couple of years. I worked in, corporate communication for a corporate. I handled a lot of roles. I did a little bit of work in their CSR initiative. So I think along the way, I got experience from very many fields. But when I became a mom, I already had 8 to 10 years of experience in communication. Wow. And stuff like that, and a little bit of theater, but I really wanted to sort of focus on my son. And when he was born, I would read a lot to him. I would share a lot of stories to him, and I started seeing this really amazing change in him, like the way he would respond and the kind of words he would use. So I thought that, okay, I mean, I was just telling stories, but when I saw the magic that the stories were doing, that's when I decided to share this with more. And in the meantime, I had already moved to Kanpur, where I live right now, from Delhi. I was in Delhi for about 8-10 years, where I worked in the corporate world. And then I moved to Kanpur when my son was born. And also there were a couple of things parallelly going on. Realized that there is nothing here for children as such. There were no bookshops. There were no events for children. So that's how Nutspace started. I started doing these storytelling sessions in the basement of my house. And initially it was very difficult to explain to children, that storytelling can be a wonderful intervention, especially in the early years. And everybody, not just children, can and should listen to stories and can also take away so much from them. So it was an uphill task. But the moment people started seeing the magic of stories, I had great response. And then of course it's been great since then. A lot of struggles on the way, ups and downs, failures, and that's, I think, the story of any entrepreneur. But we've got here so far, and it's great. It's a lovely story.
Lovely. So I'm sure all the storytellers who are listening to us will think, yeah, we had a hard time convincing people what storytelling is, and it is how beneficial it is, and all that stuff. But today we see, there is quite a surge in storytelling. Now storytelling has almost become the buzzword. But yes, how do you think parents are utilizing storytelling these days? What is storytelling for a parent?
See, I think, Alvin, it's great that there's a lot of awareness now. People are understanding the importance of stories and reading to children. And I think that's really fantastic. However, having said that, I feel that a lot of parents are still relying on, gadgets to engage their children. And because there is so much available even online, so there is this whole thing of, okay, so should I share a story myself or should I just play a story? So there's this constant confusion all the time. So I feel that in metropolitan cities, the exposure is much greater because there is availability. And like you've said, storytelling has become a buzzword. So if you are, say, in a city like Chennai or even Bangalore or even Delhi for that matter, there's a lot that is happening in terms of storytelling and book reading and stuff. But when I talk about B towns and C towns, smaller cities like maybe say Kanpur where I am, or even Varanasi and a couple of other places around here, it's not that much. It is picking up gradually. There are people like myself who are really sort of pushing it forward, and educators are really, really doing a lot in that. But I feel parents are yet to really understand and fully embrace storytelling and book reading in its entirety. So there's some work still remaining over there, and it's great right now because of the lockdown. Everything is online, so the world has shrunk. And now the ones who were not really exposed to all this are also getting exposed to it and realizing the benefits of it. So I would say there's a lot to still happen in that area. People are understanding the importance of it, but there is a lot more still left. Parents, and coming back to where I started from, earlier were relying a lot on gadgets. Now they're understanding that it is the human touch, the parent-child bonding that is more important. So instead of a screen delivering something, it should be, screen, parent, child. That's how the curve should be. Right. Where the parent, especially for very young children, parent absorbs from the screen and passes it on to the child. Or the parent co-engages with the child and then, there is a screen. So that's how it should be. So there a little bit of awareness is required.
Right. I've also read this, even in schools when they use videos to engage the students, it is always said the best method to engage them is when the teacher intervenes and becomes a bridge between the media and the students. So that's
I always say that learning has to always be hybrid. It cannot be completely solely dependent on technology. There has to be a human element. So it has to be a hybrid between human and technology. We cannot do without technology, but that human element for the emotional intervention and social emotional learning is very, very necessary.
So this social emotional learning is, I think, is your key goal at the moment, I believe.
Yes, I'm working really hard towards it, building a happiness curriculum, working, towards social emotional learning. Academics is great, but if we can make it multidisciplinary and offer a lot of SEL to children by way of stories, because I think once you tell a story, you've done everything. Then you've done the onboarding, and that's when the emotional learning starts. So yeah, I'm really focusing on that, and I think at the moment the world really does need that.
Yeah, and the world does really need a lot of stories. Right. So you're also deal a lot with early language development, and also you train parents on it. And fortunately, my dear viewers, Rohini is going to do a workshop for parents under Alvin the Storyteller on early language development. This is happening on Saturday. So more on that I will tell you at the end. Yeah. So early language development is one of your main key areas as well. It's one area that you focus really hard. So what is the current trend of an early language development?
So, I normally, this is not an unknown fact. This is not a new fact. This is something that has been scientifically proven and said over and over again. But this is something that I like to reiterate, especially when I'm doing a workshop for parents or early language or early years educators. And that is that between the ages of 0 to 3, the brain is developing at a very fast pace for a child. That's where maximum brain development is happening. And also, that's where the child is absorbing language from his or her surroundings. So if a child in the early years is exposed to positive stimulation in terms of music, stories, and books, language development, is set as a very strong foundation. So that is something that is very important. A lot of times we feel that the child is too young. What will the child learn? Or why am I sharing stories? How will the child even respond to me? We tend to feel like that, oh, my baby's too little to understand right now. But I always tell everybody, start talking to your baby the moment you know the baby is on the way. So that's where the belief development really starts.
Right.
So early language development is essentially like an investment, in the first 3 years of your baby's life. That's where you should effectively be communicating, actively communicating the child and providing positive stimulation to give them like just a push or some kind of advanced language skills to interact more frequently.
Right. So now the trend that I see today also is that parents are more focusing on making the children to be multilingual. Earlier, a few years ago, it was just on English. Language was equal to English, but now, parents want their children to be more multilingual. So, will your does the same strategy work for all languages?
Yes, a child is capable of learning multiple languages, especially in the early years. 0 to 6 years is a great time to invest in multiple language intervention. When it comes to children, the same strategy works. If children are introduced to the mother tongue, because that comes naturally to the parents or the home environment, the child will absorb that. And if the parents are multilingual as well, they should expose the child to all the languages they are aware of and they speak in. The child will pick up multiple languages. However, if there is a language that the parent doesn't know but is keen for the child to learn, coming back again to the human element, the child will learn from communication, which is one-on-one only. So you cannot actually have an app open in Mandarin and teach a little baby. That won't happen. So the parent will have to actually bridge that. So I think multiple languages for a child will work if there are people around the child speaking to him or her in multiple languages. That's how it's going to happen. And stories are a wonderful way to make those conversations smooth and that interaction entertaining.
So thank you so much, Rohini, for your time. You have given us some wonderful inputs. I am sure parents will use this. And also, my dear viewers, just to remind you, Rohini will be doing a workshop on early language development on June 27th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So don't miss it. The registration link is in the description box. So sign up and give your children a head start. Trust me, that matters.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this workshop. Thank you, Alvin.
Thank you, Rohini. Thank you so much.